Abraham was old, and the weight of promise rested heavily on his heart. God had given him a son, Isaac, the child of laughter, the heir of covenant. But Isaac needed a wife, and not just any wife. She must come from Abraham's people, not from the land of Canaan. The future of a nation would pass through this decision. So Abraham called his most trusted servant, the steward of all he owned, a man seasoned by years of quiet loyalty. "Go to my country and my relatives," Abraham said, "and find a wife for my son Isaac." The servant felt the magnitude of the task. This was no simple errand. It was a journey of hundreds of miles, across deserts and uncertainty. What if the woman refused? What if he chose wrongly? What if he failed the promise? Yet he went. With 10 camels and gifts from his master, he traveled to the city of Nahor. Dust clung to his robes. The journey was long, but the greater weight was the decision ahead. When he arrived at the well outside the city at evening, the hour when women came to draw water, he did not begin by watching faces. He began by praying. "O Lord, God of my master Abraham," he whispered beside the camels, "give me success today. Show kindness to my master. May it be that when I ask a young woman for a drink, and she says, 'Drink, and I'll water your camels too,' let her be the one." It was a bold prayer, specific, risky, trusting. Before he finished speaking, she came. Rebecca. She carried her jar with quiet strength. Her steps were confident. There was kindness in her eyes. The servant approached carefully. "Please give me a little water from your jar." "Drink, my lord," she replied quickly, lowering the jar to her hands. And before he could say more, she added, "I'll draw water for your camels too, until they have had enough." 10 thirsty camels. Hundreds of gallons. She ran back and forth to the well, again and again, pouring water into the trough. No complaint. No hesitation. Only generosity. The servant stood silent, not because he doubted, but because he was watching God answer prayer in real time. When the camels finished drinking, he placed a gold ring in her nose and bracelets on her wrists. Then he asked the question that mattered. "Whose daughter are you?" Her answer confirmed what his heart already knew. She was from Abraham's family. There at the well, he bowed his head and worshipped. Not later, not privately, right there in the dust. Praise be to the Lord, who has not abandoned his kindness and faithfulness. The decision had not been made by clever strategy alone. It had been made through prayer, surrender, and attention to God's guidance. Rebecca would leave her home and journey back to marry Isaac. A new chapter of promise would begin. Nations would rise from that union. And the servant? He returned not boasting of his wisdom, but of God's faithfulness. For he had learned what every difficult choice demands. When decisions carry the weight of destiny, begin with prayer, trust God with the details, and watch for his hand in the ordinary places, like a well at evening.